Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Welcome to the Yavapai County Broadband groundbreaking in Black Canyon City. We are very happy to have you with us today. Thank you very much for attending. We are very pleased that you've chosen to join us today. I'm Tim Carter. I'm the Yavapai County School Superintendent. And you're probably saying, why in the world is the school superintendent chairing this program? Well, primarily because I'm also the project manager. Many of you may know that we have created a middle mile infrastructure in Yavapai County well before any other county has done it. There's only one other now. Gila has completed theirs. So we're pretty proud of that, and that took a lot of work and a lot of effort on a lot of people's part, including many of you. So the middle mile basically takes us to, in our case, a school facility. What we learned from COVID, among other things, was that it doesn't do us any good if we can't get that broadband connectivity into people's homes and businesses. And so that's called the final mile, or the last mile. And that is exactly what we're working on now. We had 2 grants that allowed us to complete the middle mile. And now we have a federal ARPA grant that the county received for $46.2 million. And those dollars could only be spent for 3 things: broadband, healthcare, and then for utilities, water and sewer. So our Board of Supervisors allocated funds into each one of those 3 pots, and broadband got $20 million. And we have put out an RFP. Cox Communication was the successful bidder on that, and they are servicing Congress, and to be quite honest, they're almost done. And then they are going to be starting very quickly here in Black Canyon City, and they should be finished with that by the end of 24. It is a public-private partnership. Yavapai County can get the funds, but we don't build broadband systems. They can't get the funds, but they're very good at building broadband systems. And so we work together to make that work well. We are still going to be putting out a second RFP for $12.8 million. That could serve other areas of the county. We have what we refer to as 17 islands that we know there is a need, because this has to be in an unincorporated area of the county, and it has to be for unserved and underserved populations. And so once we identify those areas, then internet service providers are free to bid on those or go through an RFP process and suggest how they would like to move forward in those areas. And then we have a team that reviews those and it makes a determination, and then ultimately the Board of Supervisors are the ones that would award that contract, and then we work with them in a partnership, and Cox has just been awesome to work with. One of the things that you're going to find is that we have lots of different partners, not just the county and the internet service provider. And in this case, Cannon Elementary School District has been a significant partner, and they have the location here in Black Canyon City where the final mile ends. And so we have asked their board president, Jeannie Glover, to come today and talk just a bit about how this impacts Cannon School District and how it would impact the community of Black Canyon City. President Glover?
So my name is Jeannie Glover, and I have lived up here for about 20 years. And of course, as just a private resident, I've realized that our internet here has been pretty poor. And then of course, like as Mr. Tim Carter said, during COVID, you really realize that because you have to do those remote things, and people working from home and different things like that, it's been very difficult. And so when the school was approached about this and we started hearing about this, we thought, well, this is going to be fantastic. So it's been a great project. It's been great partnering with Cox Communication, and I think it's going to be something that is not only going to be good for the students in our school, but for the parents, the families, anyone who moves to Black Canyon City, which again, we're a rural town, and we know that you move to somewhere like this, and if you can't get down to Phoenix or get down to the bigger cities to get work, and you work from home, you got to pay really high internet fees for different services that may or may not work. So we're really looking forward to this. And again, I'm just really happy to be partnering with Cox. And I guess I didn't introduce myself. You did, so good. Jeannie Glover, and Cannon School Board President, and just love this community and love what this is going to bring to our community as well. And I think it's going to be a great partnership. So thank you.
Thank you, President Glover. Very glad you're with us today. Another influential partner is another county agency. The Public Works Department does an awful lot of work from the standpoint of providing permitting to make sure that county policy is being followed, state statutes being followed, that everything within the contract is being done from a facility standpoint the way it should be done. And we have a gentleman who is the right-hand person in Public Works who has just been awesome to work with. Joe, happy birthday. We're glad to have you with us. Come on up, my friend. Joe's going to chat a little bit about the interaction you're going to have with his agency here over the next year or so.
So as Tim said, my name is Joe Hewitt. I'm the operations manager for the Public Works Department, Yavapai County. I've been with Yavapai County coming up on 33 years now. It's been a great ride. Over that 33 years, I've gotten a chance to know the communities and the differences and the uniqueness of each area of the county. And certainly Black Canyon City is one that is close to my heart. It used to be my inspection area many years ago. So the one thing I know about Black Canyon City, it's absolutely beautiful, it's hot, and there's a lot of rock. So CanEasy is going to have a little bit of a challenge, but we're partnering with Cox and their contractor to make sure that when this infrastructure goes in the ground, it's seamless. The least amount of impact to the residents that use the roadways. Obviously, the transportation corridors are what we have jurisdiction over, so we're going to permit their work within our right-of-ways. But we're also going to work with them to address unique circumstances that you guys deal with down here, like the rock, like the drainage areas that are likely going to be impacted by this construction, and then to make sure that when they're done and the ultimate goal of getting the facilities in the ground is complete and getting broadband to you guys to have that extra benefit, we're going to make sure that the transportation corridors are restored. So that way they're safe and operational for everybody to use here. So we are going to be partnering with Cox's subcontractor in this project. Our inspector, our local inspector for this area, Mike Roman, will be down here interacting with the community and the residents and the contractor to make sure that we're addressing any concerns that might come up, and kind of getting ahead of this thing a little bit to make sure when this thing is done, everything is seamless. So certainly, if you have any questions or comments, I'm available afterwards. I'd be happy to talk with you, give you a card, and a resource to reach out to in case you have any concerns. So we're looking forward to the project and getting this thing built.
Okay, so as I have said, our partner is Cox Communication, and I will just absolutely tell you, Yavapai County could not be more pleased with their service. Professional, very much acting as a partner would act. Telling you things that you might not really want to hear, but you need to know it. We meet with them every other week. We communicate as often as we need to. The communication has been wonderful, and as I said, they are almost finished in Congress, and then they will be putting a significant amount of focus on Black Canyon City. So the lady that kind of coordinates all that is Susan Annabelle, and Susan is here. And so Susan, if you would please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Susan Annabelle. I'm the Market Vice President here in Phoenix and this metropolitan area, and now Yavapai County. And very happy to be here today to celebrate the groundbreaking for our construction to deliver gig and soon to be multi-gig internet services to the community of Black Canyon City. As Tim mentioned, this partnership that we've had with the county has been a tremendous opportunity for us to be able to grow our footprint, grow our network, and serve in communities that 2 years ago we would not have had the opportunity to do so. As Tim mentioned, they know how to run the county, they know what the community needs, they have the federal funding that's been made available, and Cox has the resources and the ability to bring high-speed internet to this community. We couldn't have each done this individually. It took the partnership for us to be able to be here today to celebrate this groundbreaking. And as Tim mentioned, by the end of 2024, we'll be able to serve 1,700 homes and businesses here in Black Canyon City with high-speed internet. We understand that whether people have chosen to live here, they need to live here out of circumstance, they need to have access to education. They need to have access to be able to work remotely. They need to have access to health care. So all of those things will be enabled with high-speed internet. And we're very delighted to be here. You're going to see more of us in this community. We have a strong passion and commitment to community. We've been around as a company for 125 years and have a passion for supporting the communities that we live, work, and deliver services in. And so with that, I'm happy to turn my time over to Tim, and if there are others that are still left to speak, but just thank you all for being here, and thank you for making such a warm welcome to us to come to Black Canyon City to bring services.
Thank you, Susan. I would like to give you a web address, ycesa.com. Stands for Yavapai County Education Service Agency.com. There is, right in the middle of that page, if you scroll down just a little bit, you will find a tab there that is the Yavapai County Broadband Initiative. And every document that we have had that is a public document is on that site. It has the original RFP, it has the contract, it has the addendum to the contract, it has construction schedules, it has what is referred to as a Gantt chart. And I draw your attention to that Gantt chart because many of you are wondering, well, when is construction going to begin? When is this phase going to begin? And when is it going to end? Well, that chart obviously is subject to change, but I will tell you, we really have not made any changes in it to this point. So what we've done is we've divided the project into phases. And there is a beginning date and an ending date for each of those phases, and it's contractual. And so far, we have hit every one of those, and that is exactly our plan to continue. There are some interactive maps on that website. And I don't know if you've ever used Google Earth, but you can put in your address and start way out there, and it will come right down and show you how many people who are sitting at your patio table. And it will show whether that particular property is going to get service or not. And as modifications are made in those maps, we post new maps. There is a significant set of Q&A covering all sorts of different things. If you have a question that you can't find on that site, either email me, and that's on the website, and I will either be able to answer your question or get you to the person that can answer your question. It may take us a little longer than a minute or two, but we will definitely do what we need to do to try to answer that question the very best we can. So the next gentleman that is going to be speaking is Todd Neeson. Todd is kind of the boots on the ground director from Cox here locally. He's the guy that is going to be working directly with the providers and with the subcontractors on the work. And I think he can share some information with you. We've also got some items here that you certainly can view. We've got some people that operate those things. And as he talks through them, once we're finished and once we've done a few picture opportunities, then feel free to go to each one of those items, and there'll be people that can explain what that's used for and answer any questions you might have. Todd?
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming out, everybody. I know it's hot. I know it's getting late in the day, so I'll be a little bit brief with this, but wanted to give you kind of a 30, 60, 90 look at what the activities in the community are going to look like. Right now, we are We're past the stage of our folks walking every inch of this plant, the existing lines here, and seeing what's. So I'm sorry. Keeping an eye or identifying where we're going to be putting our new plant. We also have our engineering firm that's out here currently. They've been working on the pole staking, they've been working on trench lines, identifying easements, identifying right-of-way, so on and so forth to create our permitting. Somewhere in the next 30 to 60 days, the gentleman that you see operating this equipment will start showing up. They'll be putting paint on the ground to identify where the existing utilities are. From there, they'll begin their construction once they have a clean running line. At that point, the project will take anywhere from 8 to 12 months for us probably to get all the way through. There's a lot of rock, as Tim mentioned. There's a lot of area to cover here, about 47 miles if I'm not mistaken. The gentlemen that run this equipment, Can Easy Construction, Ricardo and I have been colleagues for about 15 years now. These guys are the best in the business, and we are thrilled to have them on board for this project. The gentlemen that operate this equipment are standing right here, so please, like Tim mentioned, please go over and say hi to them. Ask them what they've got going here and what kind of equipment this is and what it does. They'll be using a multitude of different means of getting the conduit in the ground that we can pull the fiber through. They've got a drilling rig here, they'll have rock wheels, they'll have traditional backhoes and trenchers. But as Tim mentioned and Joe had mentioned, we'll be using the least intrusive possible methods that we can. It'll strictly depend on the terrain. So, like I mentioned, in about 60 days or so, you'll be starting to see these crews rolling through the community. We appreciate your cooperation while we're doing what we have to do. Of course, we're going to kick up a little bit of dust, but we'll do our best to clean it up as we go along. And we're looking forward to serving the community. So thank you very much, and can't wait to provide services.
Thank you, Todd. And Yavapai County thinks of themselves as service providers, and we hope we are. But you can see these folks are service providers. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I see Chairman Gregory was able to come over from another meeting. We were glad that he was able to make it. We have another group over at Cannon School who are chatting with some folks in the National Association of Counties, and he was speaking at that group. And so we'd like to see what comments he has for the group. Chairman Gregory, the Board of Supervisors.
Thank you, Tim. I just want to make a few comments. I know it's hot out here, but this project started about 2 years ago when we got $46 million in ARPA funding, and we secured $20 million of that ARPA funding to actually invest in broadband to our rural areas throughout the county. And fortunate for us, Cox Communication was able to secure Black Canyon City and also Congress. And I just want to say they've been fantastic partners, and we appreciate everything they've done to build this relationship and be where we're at today. This is very good news for Yavapai County and our citizens of Black Canyon City. I want to say special thanks to Tim Carter and Corey, who ramrodded this whole project, and we couldn't have done it without you guys. And just thank you for all your support on this, and thank you, Cox Communication. So thank you.
Chairman Gregory, thank you. We appreciate the support of the Board of Supervisors, and I think you've attended every event that we've had, so we appreciate that as well. Corey Christians, if you would come down. I'm assuming everybody knows Corey. He is the library director. This is a facility right behind us, and of course, they're going to be the beneficiary of this as well. Corey Christians.
Thank you, sir. With libraries, one of the key things that we've always striven for, especially since the advent of the internet, is to make sure people have access to information. And it gets to be difficult in our more rural areas because that information is not always accessible in people's homes. So we try to do what we can to make sure they have access to computers, internet from our local libraries. And last year in this particular library, we had about 600 people, 600 sessions of computers that were used. And my hope is with this partnership with Cox and with use of this ARPA funds, that number will go down. That it will go down not because they need to come to their library to get that information, but because they can get that information from their own homes. But don't worry, we got a lot more we can offer you, so still feel free to come in. But thanks to the Board of Supervisors for their support of this project. Thanks to Cox Communications for a great partnership, and we look forward to the completion of this project. Tim?
So in closing, I want to thank you again for being here. You need to realize that Yavapai County and Cox are committed to providing services to you that you don't currently have. We want to be a good partner as we go. If there's anything that we can do to assist in any way, if you have questions, please let us know. For those of you that would like to check ycesa.com here in a couple of weeks, you're probably going to find, in fact you will find, some pictures and videos of today's event. And if you have never had an opportunity to use a gold shovel, we've got more than enough up here. I think we have about 7 or 8 dignitaries, and as far as we're concerned, you're all dignitaries. So come on over, we'll get some pictures, we'll get that on the website. You'll be able to use those for Christmas cards or whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here, and folks, come on over and let's get some pictures.